This is what the tomb looks like on the outside. There are about 20 tombs in this neighborhood. A stair going down after you go in the entrance door. Behind it's another tomb. This is the actual site of the necropolis. This tomb has a long stair going down too, but no entrance corridor. There's a light turned on by a button that you can look at the tomb. Tomb from 480 BC. You see the roof has petals, flower petals on it. Dancing figures, 480 BC, very small tomb. From 480 BC, an Etruscan tomb with fairly well-preserved paintings. Banquet scene. A roof with painted beams. The banquet scene, 480 BC Etruscan, and a space for the dead body, which isn't there anymore. (480 BC there. One of about 20 tombs in the necropolis. Tomb of the Leopards, 470 BC, well-preserved paintings on the left. Two leopards in the center. Flute players on the right. Standard roof pattern. Oh, two leopards above the center, I should say. The 500 BC tomb of the Bacchanti, Bacchanal. The dead man and his wife are to the right in the center. The Bacchus and wild orgy on the left. And some more wild orgy dancers on the further left. Dogs above the celebration. Let's see. Banqueting scene. 530 BC Etruscan. Below the banqueting scene is the door to a second chamber. And there's a chamber to our left that you cannot see. And a chamber to our right that you can't see. It's a large tomb, 530 BC. Tomb of the Teti, 500 BC. A procession with a child accompanying the dead man. The rest of the tomb is bare. There's another small tomb with two lions above the central gable. And some sort of a celebration. A reclining figure on the left. That is the National Archaeological Museum of Etruscan History in Tarquinia, which we are visiting. There is the courtyard through the entrance to the National Museum of Etruscan History in Tarquinia. The symbol of the town of Tarquinia is a winged horse, which was found on an excavation of a temple from 400 BC. There it is. Images of the Iliad on a 4th century Etruscan tomb in the National Museum, along with the deceased on top. The sarcophagus with a Cerberus on it and a war with Amazons on the base. There's Cerberus. There's a war with Amazons. But there's no reclining figure. Early 4th century. In the National Museum, the sarcophagus of the obese man, but he would just be overweight today, early 2nd century BC Etruscan. This is a room full of Etruscan tombs in the National Museum from the 3rd century BC, late Etruscan. 3rd century BC Etruscan tombs. See the varied expressions on their faces. From the 3rd century, a sarcophagus with a magistrate holding a scroll with his genealogy. 3rd century Etruscan tomb in the National Museum. Procession to the underworld, led by Sharon on the bottom half. 3rd century BC Etruscan tomb of a 53-year-old woman with Scylla fighting an Etruscan goddess. Votive images of heads that obviously left at temples for healing. There's a child in the middle. Votive images of Etruscans 3rd and 2nd century of body parts for healing it left at temples. There's a toe down at the bottom. 3rd century votive images left at temples for healing by the Etruscans. Look how realistic the images are. They're very customized, and the painting is still there. A 4th century Etruscan umbrella, at least the ribs, not very big, at 300 and some BC for use on a chariot. There's an Etruscan model cart in bronze, probably 8th century before Christ.